In part 2, we're going to create the master page and add all the different elements that are required across the entire site, which includes the navigation and the footer. So let's go ahead and start building. First of all, we're going to put just a normal rectangle down on the page, and let's make that fit the page. Here we go. And let's use a color fill. We'll use the primary color fill on this one. Open up your layers panel and make sure that you're working in the content area, or the navigation as it would be for this one. So let's put that in the navigation area, and let's lock out the widgets. And I remember I said before about creating layers before we start, because that allows us to shut elements off, lock them down when we're designing, so that they don't interfere with the design and get in the way. So we've got to have rectangle there, and let's go into our assets and grab the logo, drop that on the page, put that in the corner there, and then we can just resize that to where we want it. That's about right. And next we want to put a menu navigation down the bottom here. So let's go into our library, and because we're using the base UI, we can just grab one of our menus here. So we're going to use this base hugger menu, drag that onto the page. And you'll notice that because we've already set the colors and we've installed the icon fonts, everything's there ready for us. So we can close that down and move that into place. Oops, let's grab the whole thing, move that into place. I'm going to set that into the footer there, so that sits down nice and neat there. Now the widget that's already in this menu here, this is our pin it widget, and this will make sure that the navigation stays at the bottom of the mobile browser and allows the content to flow behind it. And then when you click on the accordion to open it up, the menu will open upwards because it's pushing against the bottom of the browser there. And whatever size your page is, this will maintain. So it will have a much more of a native app kind of feel. Now, with regards to our navigation, this is just a normal standard Muse menu. So we can go ahead and double click in here and set up our pages. So we're going to put home and emergency call here. Our next page is the coverage. Are we in your area? Because remember, this is a service site, so the coverage page here, when we start building it, you'll see that this is to showcase where this particular service is active, about us, and why you can trust us. So these kind of statements, rather than just home, about us, that kind of thing, by putting more text in there, some questions, it kind of answers people's questions as to what this page is going to be about. And with a mobile design, we really want people to get to the pages that they're looking for quickly. So by being more detailed and specific in the mobile menu here, then it means that people can get to the pages that they're looking for quickly. Next is the prices page, and how much will it cost? So again, these kind of questions are a way of kind of directing people to the right place, but at the same time we're taking a more friendly tone to people and preempting why they would go there. So, okay, this is a great service, but how much is it going to cost me? Those are the kind of questions that people ask. So if you preempt those questions, people feel a lot more comfortable with the overall company because they feel that this company knows what I'm going to be looking for. And finally, the contact us page, so we can leave that as is. Now we're going to change some of these icons as well. So this one here, the coverage, we want to use actually this icon here. So I can just click in here, double tap in there, and you'll notice that if we pull up our glyphs or our text panel, we can see that this is using the material design icon that we installed. I'm just going to grab my glyphs panel as well at the same time. So we've got that open, ready to use. So I'll copy this and just move into here. There we go. The next one down, we wanted to use an info icon there. So I'm going to click into my menu here and select that. And let's have a look for something with an info symbol. So we could use maybe that. Oh, I'm going to be searching for this now, aren't I? Here we go. Great. The next icon, we're going to click into the menu, click in here. We're going to use a pound sign for that, so to do with prices. So we want something that either looks like a price ticket or some kind of financial symbol so that people can recognize that it's to do with money. I think it was down the bottom here. Here we go, let's use this one. And finally the contact us, we can leave that as is. Now this menu, if we click into this, we'll see what this is made up of. This is a normal accordion. And in the text, where you would usually put text, what we've actually done is we've copied and pasted a another text box, so we can see that this icon is fully selectable and editable as well. And then we've used the wrap, and we've set that in place. We've set the spacing as well. So you can see here we've set the spacing so that we've got this icon in the accordion trigger part without and we've placed it in the text area because, as you probably noticed, you can't just place images into accordion text areas, but by clicking with our cursor and then copying and pasting in. So let's just go through that process. If I cut that out and place that on the page here, so we've got that. That's just a text box. We can see that it's a text box because when we double click our text tool, and if we cut that out and then double click into our accordion panel here, if we started typing, we could see that we've got very small type because we've set the text to 1 because we don't want any text size at all really. And then we just paste that in, and then with our wrapping tools, we've set our wrapping to above and below, and then we've set, let's set this to 0. And now our icon sits nicely in this accordion, and we can modify it if we want, and it looks great. Next in the accordion, we've got a menu. So this is just a normal Muse menu. You can see if we click into this menu here, we have our menu settings here. We can see that we've copied and pasted this text box icon in here, so using the glyphs. And then with our wrapping tool, we've set it to left align, and then we've used an offset of 40 that pushes the text away, so that gives us this nice spacing in between. And then use the other offsets to just set the icon exactly where we want it. So this allows us to have a fully working menu with text glyph font icons and to control the spacing. So if I change the spacing here, let's say you can see that the text is moving out of place. So this is a really great way of building navigation menus quickly with icons, just using the glyphs. Now we're going to close this up now because we're not ready to set our pages yet. Now when you close it, you'll notice that we still have this big box area that is the same size as the open menu. Now we don't want to leave it like that, but what is that box? Well, if we take a look in our layers panel here, we can see that that's actually a state button. So we've got a state button with an accordion inside it and with a menu inside that accordion. And the reason why we've done that is we want this pin it widget here to activate this group. But we can't target the accordion itself because we can't apply a style, an overall style to the accordion, because we need to apply some kind of styling naming convention to this area to allow the code within this widget to select and target this area. So by putting it into a state button, we can then, if we look in our graphics styles here, so in our graphics styles, we can see that the state button has a style of pin this, which matches up with the style to apply to here. So by placing all of those bits of content inside a state button, we can now target it. So that's just a technique that we found by using the state button. It's not just a button, you can use it as a container as well. So we're going to close that down, and then we're going to grab this state button and drag it and close it so it's all nice and neat. Now, if you make any modifications to this accordion, you'll want to go ahead and resize it again. So it seems like a bit of a pain, but it works really well, and it means that we can get the effect that we want. So let's go ahead and preview this page now. So we can see that we're looking at an iPhone 5S kind of thing here, and we can see our logo, and we've got our menu, and hey presto, it stays at the bottom of the page, and when we click it, it opens up. So the accordion, instead of opening down, it's opening up because it's pushing against the bottom of the browser there. So we get this really nice menu effect here. So that's pretty much it for the master page. So now we can go ahead and start building our additional pages.